4,000 years ago, a Babylonian scribe wrote about a man who stopped eating, stopped sleeping, stopped speaking to his own family. Priests said a demon had attached itself to him. They had no word for depression. But read the symptoms without the demon: loss of appetite, withdrawal, a total collapse of motivation. That is almost the exact checklist a psychiatrist uses today. In Egypt, a text called the Dialogue Between a Man and His Soul shows a man arguing with his own spirit about whether to keep living, written 2,000 years before Christ. In the Hebrew Bible, Job loses everything and sinks so low that he curses the day he was born, unable to sleep, unable to eat, describing a total collapse of meaning itself. Different cultures, no contact with each other, somehow describing the exact same thing. In Greece, Hippocrates gave it a name, Melancholia, and blamed an excess of black bile. He was wrong about the bile. He was right that something physical was happening inside the body. Centuries later in Rome, the philosopher Cicero lost his daughter and described a grief so total he withdrew from public life and found no comfort even in the philosophy he had spent his career mastering. His own friends grew worried about him. Move forward again into medieval monasteries, where monks described a spiritual exhaustion so severe they could no longer feel joy in prayer, and the church simply called it a sin. Ancient people did not lack the feeling. They lacked the framework. They called it a demon, a bodily fluid, a sin, a test from the gods. We call it a chemical imbalance. Same suffering, carried across 6 civilizations, wearing a different name every time. And here's the harder part. Some evolutionary psychiatrists now argue depression was never a malfunction at all, but an ancient survival mechanism, a forced shutdown that once pulled a struggling person away from conflict long enough to think, or signaled to a tribe that someone needed to withdraw and be left alone. That mechanism made sense in a small, tightly bonded group with sunlight, movement, and 50 familiar faces. It makes far less sense now. Constant isolation, no community, no sunlight,
maybe triggering
no tribe. That same ancient switch far more often than it was ever meant to be triggered, carved into clay and papyrus and scripture. The epidemic might be new,